Hello everyone, Cat Goblin and Martin here, back with some more Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights. Now throughout this whole game, there are some monsters that you encounter way too many times. A perfect example is the Caveman. He's found in Smuggler's Cove, the Sea Cliffs, and even appears in the attic of Mystic Manor. There's the Sea Creature, that creepy zombie, the Headless Spectre, and the list goes on. Those monsters have a lot of appearances. I mean, the Caveman appears in every map, but there are some monsters that don't see the spotlight as often, which is why in today's review, I'm going to be reviewing the underused enemies in Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights. I'm going to be talking about 12 enemies that have under 25 appearances. I'll start with the monster with the most appearances and work my way down, and of course there will be some clips of them. So, without further ado, let's visit those underused enemies. Our first monster, which is kind of underused, is the Tower Monster. He first appeared in Cower in the Tower Part 1 and also appears in Fishy Clues for Scooby-Doo Part 1, Fear in the Pier Parts 2 to 3, Going Down Which Way Part 1, Lighthouse Fright House Parts 1 to 3, Scared Stiff at Skull Cliff Part 4, Gloom and Doom Down the Tomb Part 3, and Wreck on the Deck Part 1. The Tower Monster has 22 appearances in the whole game, and he mostly appears in Smuggler's Cove. Now in some parts you'll start seeing the Tower Monster a lot, but then as you progress you don't see him again. He's a really cool enemy, and in some places, he has some creepy dialogue.
Right? Robbie! Right? Don't do that! Right? Don't do that!
The second enemy is the Flytrap Plant. It has 18 permanent appearances, plus 4 of them appear in the boss fight with the Green Ghost. A really cool enemy that acts as an obstacle for Scooby, but the Hedge Maze and Graveyard is the home for this toxic plant. The Space Kook is one enemy that always respawns and never admits defeat. He first appeared in Creepy Crawlies in the Hallways Part 3 and can be found in Gust Abound Underground Part 2, Who's Yell in the Cellar Parts 1 to 4, Little Lab of Horrors Parts 2 to 3, and Mastermind Unmasked Part 2. The Space Kook has 17 permanent appearances, plus the Mastermind spawns him in 3 times in the final boss fight, and I guess you could say these are the locations that best fit the Space Kook. I wouldn't really consider the Space Kook as underused, but these are the only places to find him.
Right?
Next up is the Gargoyle with 17 appearances. You first meet him in Don't Look Down Scooby-Doo Part 1, and he appears in Misbehaving Cause a Cave-In Part 1, A Tight Spot for a Grave Plot Part 2, A One-Way Trip to the Crypt Parts 1 to 2, Gloom and Doom Down the Tomb Part 1, Fishy Clues for Scooby-Doo Part 4, and Creepy Crawlies in the Hallways Part 2. You rarely see the Gargoyle, but you do see him a lot in the graveyard, and even his sleeping mechanic, which is on the balconies, is underused. Another enemy with 17 appearances is the rat. You first encounter it in Shock on the Dock Part 1. It's also found in the greenhouse of the Hedge Maze section and parts of Mystic Manor. Not much to say about this enemy, but these are the only locations that make sense for the rat to be in. Next, we've got the Funland Robot. He has 13 permanent appearances, and the Mastermind spawns him in 3 times in the final boss fight. You first encounter him in Little Lab of Horrors Part 1, and he's found throughout the super secret lab. Like the Space Kook, this is the only place that best fits the Funland Robot. He has a really cool mechanic where you have to knock him down with the football helmet and then ground pound on top of him. And in Mastermind Unmasked Part 1, he respawns like the Space Kook. Next is the Creeper with 15 appearances. He's first found in Clamor in the Manor Part 2 and is also located in Mind Your Manners Part 2, All Scares Upstairs Part 2, all the way to Don't Look Down Scooby Doo Part 2, A Dark and Stormy Night Part 1, Gusts Abound Underground Part 1, Who's Yell in the Cellar Part 3, and briefly appears chasing Shaggy in Part 4 of The Cellar. The Creeper is one of the 4 large monsters. You see him repeatedly in Mystic Manor, but after that you don't see him again until you reach the secret passage's last basement. And I gotta say, it's really cool that the Creeper pops out of his own painting.
Creepers! It's the Creeper!
Next, we have the Scarecrow, and he has 14 appearances. He's found in On Edge in the Hedge Part 3, all the way to Chills and Spills in Haunted Hill Part 3. He's only found in the Hedge Maze section of the map. In the Monster Gallery, we see him dancing, but he doesn't do that anywhere else. He usually patrols, and at this part here, he has an underused mechanic where he stands still. But overall, this is the only place to find him. Next is the Witch Doctor, and he only has 13 appearances. You first encounter him in All Scares Upstairs Part 1, and can be found in Don't Look Down Scooby Doo Part 2, all the way to Panic in the Attic Part 4. The Witch Doctor is only found in a small section here in Mystic Manor. He's pretty unique because he doesn't patrol. It would be cool to see him in Smuggler's Cove or on the Sea Cliffs, and even his attack is unique. Up next is the Ghost of Captain Moody. He has one permanent appearance in Creepy Crawlies in the Hallways Part 1, and in the third boss fight, the Ghost of Captain Redbeard can constantly spawn 4 of him in. Yeah, he only appears in 2 places, but his second appearance is brief. What's really cool about the Ghost of Captain Moody is that he's the only monster enemy that can resist being stuck in gum and a soap bubble. It's too bad we never see him properly in Smuggler's Cove or on the sea cliffs. Next, we have the Ghost of Geronimo. 2 of them permanently appear in Clamor in the Manor Part 4, and 1 briefly appears chasing Shaggy in A Dark and Stormy Night Part 2. Very underused, and what makes him really unique is that he's the only monster enemy to have 2 attacks. The first one being where he rams you with his horns, and the second one is his kick. But it would be cool if he was in the hedge maze.
It's Geronimo! Geronimo! Move! Geronimo! It's Geronimo! 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 It's Geronimo! Move! Geronimo!
Now for our last enemy, and you're probably wondering, what could possibly be more underused than the Ghost of Geronimo? Well, it's the shark. Okay, I know the shark is one of those background enemies that appear briefly like in all games, but it only has 1 appearance, which is in Mastermind Unmasked Part 1. It would make sense to see the shark in Smuggler's Cove, especially on the shipwrecks, but we don't, and after playing through the game a lot, I think the shark is just another hologram.
That takes care of him, but I didn't bring my water rules. Get rid of that water, pal. That takes care of him.
So that's going to wrap up the underused enemies. All of these enemies have unique attacks and abilities. It's a bit of a shame that their appearances are limited, but anyways, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next review.